In every classroom, every corporation, every empire, people are silently ranked by one invisible measure: intelligence. We test it, we label it, we worship it. But what if intelligence was never just one thing? Edward Thorndike, one of the earliest architects of modern psychology, shattered this illusion. He argued that human intelligence is not a single flame burning in the mind, and it is a constellation, a web of interlinked powers. He proposed the multi-factor theory of intelligence, revealing that our ability to think, decide, and act comes not from one grand source, but from a network of smaller, independent abilities. There is no single IQ. There is mechanical intelligence, the ability to understand systems, machines, and tools. There is social intelligence, the art of reading human nature, predicting behavior and managing relationships. And there is abstract intelligence, the capacity to deal with ideas, logic, and theory. Machiavelli would have smiled at this, because he understood what Thorndike only began to define: that power itself depends on many forms of intelligence and not one. The ruler who can read people but not strategy will be outplayed. The thinker who can analyze but not persuade will be ignored. The soldier who can fight but not plan will die early. In truth, the world rewards not the most intelligent, but the most complete. Thorndike's theory wasn't just about cognition. It was about adaptation, the ability to shift between forms of knowing, to meet the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. And this adaptability, this inner flexibility, is the hidden mark of all true genius. Among Thorndike's three forms, social intelligence stands above the rest, because in every game of life, business, politics, love, or war, your success depends less on what you know and more on who you understand. Machiavelli wrote, "The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him." He understood what Thorndike confirmed through psychology. Intelligence is relational. Power is built not in isolation but in interaction. Social intelligence is the unseen currency of influence. It is the art of silent reading, understanding body language, tone, motive, and fear before words are spoken. It is emotional chess, and in every age those who master it rise above those who merely calculate. But here's the paradox. The socially intelligent man often appears simple. He doesn't flaunt his IQ. He doesn't seek approval. He listens and lets others reveal themselves. Thorndike believed that intelligence grows in layers, each interaction refining perception. Machiavelli would call it political instinct, the sharpened awareness that comes only from experience, failure, and restraint. Social intelligence is not softness. It is weaponized empathy, the power to see the strings that move people and to pull them when necessary. In our world of digital noise, AI chatter, and self-promotion, this type of intelligence is vanishing. But the few who still cultivate it dominate quietly. Thorndike's theory leads to a simple truth: the more forms of intelligence you master, the less controllable you become. Most people build one skill and call it identity. The artist knows emotion but not economics. The analyst knows data but not people. The leader knows vision but not discipline. But the multi-factor mind builds bridges between them. Machiavelli taught that true rulers design systems that make them indispensable. Thorndike's framework shows you how to design your mind the same way. When you train your mechanical intelligence, where you learn control. When you train your social intelligence, you learn persuasion. When you train your abstract intelligence, you learn vision. Control, persuasion, vision. That is the architecture of power. Every genius in history, Leonardo da Vinci, Marcus Aurelius, Napoleon, Jung, built their strength on this foundation. They did not specialize, they synthesized. And here lies the secret. A single form of intelligence makes you useful. Many forms of intelligence make you sovereign. Thorndike's theory, viewed through Machiavelli's eyes, is not just psychology. It's a blueprint for independence, mental, social, and spiritual. So if you want power, don't ask, "Am I smart enough?" Ask instead, "Which form of my intelligence am I neglecting?" Because the world doesn't belong to the smartest man in the room. It belongs to the one who understands how everyone else thinks. Thorndike believed intelligence wasn't one solid block of brilliance, but a constellation of abilities, each serving a purpose. Mechanical intelligence, abstract intelligence, social intelligence, three forces that, when mastered together, make a person unstoppable. But here's what most people miss. Intelligence without control is chaos. And control, not intellect, decides who rules and who obeys. The hidden hierarchy of the mind. Most people live trapped within one kind of intelligence. The engineer, brilliant with systems, fails in human politics. The empath, gifted in social nuance, collapses when faced with logic. The philosopher, master of abstraction, forgets how to act in reality. Thorndike's genius was realizing that true mastery is integration. Mechanical intelligence teaches precision, how to move, build, and execute. Abstract intelligence gives foresight, the power to see patterns before they unfold. Social intelligence grants influence, the subtle command over people's emotions and loyalty. But if you separate these forces, you remain fragmented. A man may be intelligent, yet powerless. A thinker may be brilliant, yet ignored. A ruler may have charisma, yet be blind to consequence. The wise merge all three, and that's when intellect becomes domination. The Machiavellian upgrade. Imagine the court of Florence, 1500s. Niccolo Machiavelli stands in a chamber filled with schemers, generals, and merchants. Each man believes he's the smartest, but Machiavelli studies differently. He's reading not the words, but the motives. He's calculating not just outcomes, but how to make others create them for him. That's the essence of social intelligence, not manipulation, but orchestration. To see beyond words, to predict reactions before they appear. It's not about deceiving others. It's about understanding that most people deceive themselves. Combine this with abstract intelligence, and you no longer chase power, you design it. You see systems of thought, systems of belief, systems of control. You don't react, you engineer outcomes. Add mechanical intelligence and the ability to build, execute, and apply, and the circle is complete. You think, you understand, you act, and your actions echo through the structure of society. This is what Thorndike didn't say outright but implied through his theory. Power belongs to the one who unifies the fragments of intelligence into will, the psychological truth. Every mind contains these layers, but most people live in the shallows. They rely on intellect to survive, not to evolve. They think knowing is enough, but knowing is only potential. Execution turns thought into destiny. You want to stand apart? Then train like a Machiavellian polymath. Sharpen the mechanical. Learn to act with precision. Refine the abstract. Learn to think beyond appearances. Master the social. Learn to move people without lifting a finger. When these merge, your mind becomes not just intelligent, but strategic. And strategy is the highest form of intellect. The silent apex. At the top of the hierarchy of intelligence is not the genius, nor the philosopher, nor the manipulator, but the architect. The one who builds systems of thought, emotion, and action so refined that others move in harmony with his design. He doesn't speak loudly. He doesn't argue. He simply acts, and the world rearranges around him. That is Thorndike's ultimate unspoken message. Intelligence is not about being smart. It's about being effective. And effectiveness, when refined to its limit, looks like destiny. In the end, intelligence is not a gift, it's a weapon. A blade forged in silence, sharpened by failure, and mastered by awareness. Most people use their minds like tourists, wandering through thoughts, collecting opinions, calling it wisdom. But those who rise and those who rule know that intelligence is architecture. It's not about having ideas. It's about building them into systems that bend reality. Thorndike saw intelligence as many-sided, mechanical, abstract, social. But he also revealed something darker. That brilliance without balance collapses into madness. Logic without empathy becomes tyranny. Emotion without logic becomes chaos. Action without insight becomes destruction. The true Machiavellian doesn't just think. He aligns every layer of his mind into one single direction. He doesn't move fast, he moves inevitably. While others chase approval, he studies patterns. While others argue, he observes. While others talk of potential, he rewrites his limits quietly. Because real intelligence is not seen in words, it's seen in results. It's measured not by applause, but by control. And so, if you wish to become more than clever, more than talented, if you wish to become formidable, then stop using your mind to survive. Use it to create. Create focus, create calm, create systems that feed your will instead of draining it. And when you do, and the world will stop seeing you as intelligent, they'll see you as inevitable. Machiavelli once wrote, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." Thorndike would agree. Intelligence is not thought. It's timing. It's precision. It's the art of seeing 10 moves ahead and smiling while others panic. So stay calm. Think clearly. Move slowly. And remember, intelligence in its highest form isn't what you know. It's what you can make real. Be the architect of your mind while not its prisoner. And the world will follow the structure you've built without even realizing it.